this is what I want to do. I want to make basketball like maybe like a call like a way out.
Oh no. Well, man, first of all, thanks for having me, BT. Uh, Second of all, man, I think this is a good platform, for just basketball minded people, and not only basketball, just giving back to parents and to the community of the insight of, just actually just young coaches,
Mm,
and that have the lives of these young kids in their hand.
yes.
So, but in my situation, I grew up playing basketball, west side, St. Louis, uh, Cabaney Course area, the visitation. That's where it took off for me in basketball. And older people that know, that area, that's like a legendary part.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, it was just so much. It was just St. Louis was just so much crime. It was crime, gang infested, you know, anything and everything you can ask for, in a negative situation. It was in that area and just in St. Louis in a whole. But I knew I didn't want to be involved with that, and I played a lot of sports, but I blossomed in the game of basketball. So every day, majority of my time went to that park, playing some sport, um, baseball, football, basketball. I played everything you could play. And once I got done, doing that, you know, my basketball IQ kicked in, and people actually, start, seeing I was able to play basketball. So they gave me an outlet. And the person who came and actually pulled me out of the community, not out of the community, but pulled me out of just playing in the parks was Darrell Pee Wee Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And he recognized me, and he said, you got an opportunity to play this game that can take you a long ways. And I knew all the avenues that was in my neighborhood. I knew where they led to. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I don't know where this avenue lead to. And I trusted him. So I took that avenue. And I didn't become a pro, but I became a professional in one way or another.
Right. So let's just talk about like just that transition because I know we live in the day right now to where a lot of parents they get their kids involved and they they check up on the rankings real early. At what point did you start like paying attention to like this world that okay I got basketball and man is this a whole nother world because you know I got introduced to high school sports first. And from high school sports, those were the guys that I looked at as being larger than life. Did it hit you early as far as knowing what the high school game was like, or you didn't probably even pay attention to that?
Honestly, BT, man, that never played a part in my game or basketball at all. I played the game to get out of my situation at home. I didn't care about no numbers. I didn't care about the rankings. I just knew I just wanted to see a different corner than what I saw. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have peace, and I wanted to just be able to get my grandmother, out of the situation that she was in.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't about me. I just so I played basketball with a different type of hunger. I
Right.
didn't play basketball for the rankings. I didn't play basketball for I if I got to become a professional, oh well, that was good. But I wanted to be able to get out of the situation, get an education, because I knew if I got an education, then anything can happen. So I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to, and then I wanted to make my grandmother proud, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I played the game.
So was it a consistent basis, like as far as like high school? Because I talk with people today, and they just talk about like your high school career as far as man, you just dominating the game and just being like just unstoppable and just hard to stop. Did the light click on for you, saying, well, I'm doing pretty good here in high school. How will I make the transition to college to keep going on? Like, were you on top of that as far as like what you needed to do to get to college?
Honest to God, you really want to know how serious it was for me as a junior. As a junior in high school, I was talking to armed forces recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea that all these colleges was was interested in me.
Right.
I just wanted the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Earl Austin and Pee Wee Leonard, they like said, man, wait, you gotta you gotta relax. Like you got opportunity, man. Like you can be you one of the best in this area in the whole
Right.
Missouri. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm just go to my games, go back to my neighborhood. My neighborhood, the guys telling me how good I am, but that's just amongst us. And I'm not really, realizing, like, man, everybody else took notice outside of my 4 blocks,
Mm-hmm.
of the west side, at the time. So, and I didn't know. But now, I said, wow, I got these opportunities. And as they start coming, I took heed in them.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that transition, because I mean, I was blessed to be able to play for you, and I always tell folks all the time, like, look, don't get it twisted, man. I was Coach Tate's first All-American in college, but let's talk about just the relationship with Coach Gray down in Mineral area. Like, how did he play a part in your development when you made that transition from high school to playing at Mineral, and then being an All-American down in Mineral? So can you
But
just speak on that a little bit?
Coach Gray, he won me over, man, because he won my grandmother over.
Mm-hmm.
He told my grandmother he would take care of me, and he would basically showcase, all my talent that I have, and he would make sure I get my degree, and I'm not coming back home without it.
Mm-hmm.
So he said those words, and my grandmother was like, "Well, that's where you're going." So I was like, "All right,
Right.
that's where I'm going." So I went down to Coach Gray, and Coach Gray, he extended the relationship of a brotherhood, fatherhood for me, like Coach Pee Wee did.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the opportunity to, like, he knew who I was, he knew how I played the game, and he allowed me to play the game the way I knew how. The things I didn't know, he took the time out and he taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And the things when he taught me, I just listened and I absorbed everything he was telling me. So we got a close knit bond, and I'm a loyal person. And if you give me that opportunity, I'm just going to stay loyal to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he just walked me through, every step that I need to be walked through academically. I wasn't as sound as I needed to be in areas. And as you know, he wasn't easy with me. He was like, you need to learn this because you're
Right.
going to need to know this. So I need to take it serious. So he had many other talks with me, and just sitting there with him, I learned that he had care for me other than just scoring the basketball.
Right.
And winning, helps all. So again, I got recruited by everybody in the country. I was blessed to be the #1 player coming out of junior college, when I did. And, we had a lot of success. So I just listened to him, and we went from there.
Right. So just talk about like that transition as far as like leaving junior college and then going to a university. At any point was it overwhelming to you seeing the difference in not just in the sport and in basketball, but just overall as far as you going from a junior college to a bigger university and trying to, navigate those waters. So speak on that real quick.
Well, actually, I had an easy transition to Division 1 basketball. Probably a little bit easier transition than most because we had success, right?
Mhm.
And when I went there, the difference that I realized that it wasn't a person up close in person like Coach Gray, who would know every class you go to, know when you miss a class, know when you're not doing good.
Mhm.
Um, you know, he was the point person, and he would every day you would have that conversation with him. Get to University of Missouri, we got 12 people you got to meet with. You got a mentor. You got a lot of different people, and it's so your time management had to be ultra important to you, and you really had to make sure that you knew how to manage your time. So that was different. And they gave you a lot of, I got a lot of help at the University of Missouri. And with the foundation from Coach Gray, I was one of the first blacks to graduate on time, in 15 years at the University of Missouri. And that was really important to me because I had the opportunity. And once I knew that, I was like, I'm gonna make that happen.
Man.
That's
So
15 years, to graduate on time.
mm, like that's heavy. So talk about how you incorporated like all the coaches that you had, like Coach Leonard, Coach Gray, Coach Stewart, in your coaching style right now, as far as like what did you take from each one to kind of make it your own?
Yeah. So one of the things I did, I learned, I'm very observant, I'm very observant to everything. You know, um, I, I took a little from everybody and I took a lot. I took a lot what not to use.
Hmm.
Like, not saying either coach. I'm just going to say it's some things I took from us. A lot of things I took from coaches that I didn't even know I was going to have the opportunity. I didn't even know I was going to be a coach. But once I became a coach, I said, you know what? This is some things I wouldn't do. Like I'm not going to handle my players this way. I'm
Right.
not going to coach. I'm going to be this type of coach. I'm going to, basically I learned how to be firm. I learned how to be hard, but more than anything, I learned how to be fair. And everything that they taught me, like from my high school coach, Coach Hahn, all the way to Coach Stewart, everything that they taught me, I wanted to say, you know what, I just need a little bit of, their knowledge, and I can put, myself into, them, and I
Hmm.
do it in honor of them, but I just think I don't coach. I didn't coach you guys for basketball for winning or losing.
Right. Mm.
Some people coach for winning or losing. I never cared if I won or lost. To this day, I never really care if I win or lose. My win and losses come with lives.
Mm.
So I coach. I coach to win life. Like everybody that I coach, I still have a relationship with them. There's not one kid that I coach that can tell you, man, I don't like Coach Tate or anything. So I coach for life. You know what I mean? I
For
coach
real.
to say, you know what, that kid is successful now. We might lost by 20. We might lost by 25. You know, we might won by all that. But at
Right.
the end of the day, I want to be able to instill something into to you guys that, you know what, at the end of the day, we can give back to society, and that kid is going to have a better life just because I was some kind of what a little bit, had an input with it.
Mm.
And as you know, I mean, you still got a relationship with me, and I coach for life. I don't coach for 40 minutes.
Right. So let's talk about like you had some great teams at Mineral. Okay,
Mhm.
now for like the let me pick your brain just a little bit on the X's and O's part. So every year when you would,
And don't get it twisted. I love to win now.
right, no, but I'm just saying as far as like because hopefully the young coaches are listening to this, and I know I
Yeah,
get a lot of folks ask me a lot of questions about like program building. Okay, what are
yeah.
some of the things that you think are like real important from like starting from like day one? Like what are some of the things that you looked at the beginning of the year when you got the kids coming in, you saying like, look, this is how I'm gonna lay this
Just X's
foundation
and
down.
O's. So, number one, first thing is the culture, right? And I'll always talk about culture. You guys know that. And I want a loving coaching culture around.
Mhm.
And I want you guys to love each other and care for each other. And if you love each other and care for each other, you're going to let each other down. But at the end of the day, you're not going to want to do that, because of you care for that guy. You get what I'm saying? Or you care
Right.
for that coach or that teacher. So, and when you have those dynamics, that's the foundation. We're doing this out of love. We our coaches, we love and we care for each other. Then
Mm.
the second is, getting guys or getting people who fits that mold, who really care for each other. Because after you're done, that's when all the memories and everything with each other comes in play.
Mhm.
Basketball wise, you gotta, to every coach out there, you got to recruit or you got to get a kid. If like high school, I know you guys don't get to recruit or you don't get you got to make the best out. What do you get?
Right.
So you just got to make either train a kid to get to your philosophy or if you're recruiting, you gotta recruit a kid to the philosophy of what you think. You
Mhm.
know, if you're a run and jump team, you need to get long running guys, that's athletic. If you're a shooting team, I'm a little of everything.
Mhm.
So if you give me a kid, I just going to make him a basketball player and forget all the other stuff. If I can get into their head and have basketball IQ, get their basketball IQ up, we're going to do the rest.
Mhm. So no, that's huge because we all kind of like you said we know we're not blessed to have certain kids or
Right.
able to go out and get certain folks. You're in it, so you have to try to prioritize on what's most important as far as trying to develop your team. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with the mental health aspect of like you said, we all in it to win and we want to win, but as for me, and I'm pretty sure for you, it's hard for me to sleep at night when you just thinking about like, man, we should have rotated on this, we should have blocked this guy out, I should have had this person in the game doing it. How do you stay sane with the mental part doing wins and losses?
Well, I let the film determine that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The film, that's why you have film work. So on film work, you can say, hey, this is what you're doing, this is what you're not doing, this is what you got to do, right? Um, then I study, on the off season, and I try not to beat myself up. I try not to beat the kids up. I mean, if you ever seen me, you know me. I'm like,
Right.
if you I want to coach you and I want to teach you during practice, during games, you earn that time to play the game.
Right.
So I want you to be yourself during the game, right? And if you did it enough in practice, you're going. That's why they call it practice. If you've done it enough in practice, it's going to carry over to the game. And I try not to, in a game, I try not to. I'm like, yo, he earned that right to do those things because you're gonna do what you used to doing in a
Right.
game that what you that you did in
Become really
practice.
exposed to
So
become second nature at certain points, but
right,
go ahead.
absolutely. So you have a lot of people, a lot of coaches that worry themselves, scratch their head, and when in the game, I'm okay because I'm like, you know what, I should get mad at myself because I didn't prepare them in practice. But if I prepared you guys in practice for whatever, once you get to the game, I know what to expect. I know what you're going to do in certain situations. And if I don't know, that's on me. So I see coaches been coaches for 30 years. I know coaches been coaching for 20 years. They see a turnover or they see something and they going crazy. My thing is, you done seen the turnover for 20 years. You've been coaching for 20 years and you still acting the same way. So
Mhm.
until I see something different, I'm like, I seen the turnover. I seen that type of, I seen that in the basketball game before. So
Right.
until I see something new, then I react different. But it's still never been a perfect basketball game played. So I'm going into a game knowing it's going to be mistakes. So I'm like, yo, listen, I know in a certain situation, if I haven't never seen a kid try to do certain things, what's the outcome going to be? It's just a chess game.
So, so for folks that's listening and kind of touch on this, because I mean, you go across the country, man. You've been getting the best players in at St. Louis U. What are you looking for when you go out and you're recruiting for players? And I know you kind of talk about like system players and some of the things that you kind of, if you know that you're going to be trying to run this type or have this type of team, these are the kind of
Mhm.
players that need to fit your program. But for like a parent right now that's thinking about sending their kid to St. Louis U or anybody, like what are you guys looking for at that level? So it won't, we won't get, caught up as being high school coaches trying
Right.
to sell kids on certain programs when it's like, they're not looking for those type of players. So
Well,
speak to that just a little bit.
well, most of the time, if you got to sell a kid, if you got to sell a kid, he probably, a kid that's like not ready for your level. Not saying that he can't be, but he's not
Mhm.
ready. So, but if we come out and recruit your kid, and what we're looking for, first of all, a team player. Number one, a team player. Two, he got to be serious about his academics and about school, and
Mhm.
about life. And then once that happens, then you start looking at his character, seeing if he got good character, he got, the background is good, high character kid. then, the talent comes, you look at the talent and you see the talent and it's like, okay, do it fit?
Mm-hmm.
And how can we enhance his talent to get him to where he want to go? And it's okay to have ego. Like, how can we help this kid get to where he want to go? How can the kid help us? And that's not just in basketball. Like, how can we help this kid change his family dynamics once he leaves St. Louis University?
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be an education, if he's going to be a professional in the community, if he's going to be a professional, athletic wise, just how do we enhance this kid and make him better, and vice versa? Do he fit, our program? Do he fit what we trying to do? And most of the things, it's real simple, man. It's just hardworking kids that are serious about their academics, and kids, with talent, that can play the way we want them to be able to play.
Mm-hmm. So in closing, I'm not gonna hold you too long, but
Hey,
let,
I told
look,
you anytime as long as you want. I
but
mean,
look, but let's kind of okay. So let's speak a little bit just on the climate of where we are right now with dealing with like COVID and all this. So right now, as we speak, like right now, we're in the process of kind of like shutting down until we figure out what our next steps are. But how will this situation, and we look back on this in 5 years, how would this situation be kind of remembered? As far as like the climate of what we're going through right now, both on the university level and then on the high school level and all across the board with the state of basketball.
the state of basketball or just the world?
Well, I mean, kind of both, because I mean, it's
Well,
kind of tying in because you're not
this is
having outlets for kids. And I'm gonna give you an example real quick. So, for like my high school seniors, how will this situation affect them moving forward? Because we have a lot of seniors that might not get the opportunity to maybe get film, get a chance to play at those levels. So now we're gonna have a generation of a class that kind of gets skipped over a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So always remember, it's a reason why things happen, and everything that happens is going to make it better,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is no man doing
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Right.
There's no man have enough power to stop the world, to
Right.
pause the world.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reasons, we in this situation, I believe that it's only creating different avenues to figure out how to fix it. Like, think think to this situation. We would have never ever thought how creative we have to be just to play the game of basketball.
That's
How
true. That's real.
creative, how creative we have to be just to, do the normal things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's certain things that we was getting by with
Mm-hmm.
in this world that we wasn't paying attention to, that the world had to be paused to say, okay, listen, we just going on, and it's we not thinking. It was so many generations that was lost. Yeah, we see the successful ones. I guarantee you it's about 5% of people that's successful in this world. But 95% of this world is because we had to pause and we had to stop and think, wait a minute, we got to start redoing things.
Mm-hmm.
We got to think about, like, imagine how many people are going to come out of this situation better. I know you feeling like, well, we're not seeing kids, we're not doing. Guess what? We got creative, and
Yeah.
we figuring out how to use technology, right?
Look at us
We
right
use
now.
technology.
Look.
Yeah, we're using technology. We still doing it. We would have just picked up the phone and talked to each other.
Yeah.
That's the lazy way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something. I don't have the answers, but it's
Right.
something in this moment or in this time that is going to brew something better,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to come out of it. So yeah, it's easy to say, certain people didn't get this or certain people didn't get that. This generation might be the generation X, Y, Z that might get better than everything else
Right.
because they
Right.
went through this.
Yeah.
So they might not got seen by, us basketball coaches or something like that, but it might be another avenue in the game of basketball that was just created for a situation like this
Yeah.
that we never would have thought about.
Yeah.
So
Nah. Yeah. I
It's
mean, that
gonna
makes sense because I mean, even this summer, like we had to get creative where we couldn't get in the gym. So now, okay, let's take the kids out to the park and let's do some stuff in the park that we would never even think about doing with this generation. But we know we grew up and playing on the blacktop.
How
So
did you start off asking? What question you start off asking me?
how did you
And
grow
I
up and where did
answered.
you?
Yeah, I answered. I had to start off in the park. So
Right.
the essence of all this is bringing it back to the essence of
There
okay,
you go.
now we got to start back to doing it a certain way. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with resetting to get it right to start over. It's just like if you have a playbook and all your plays not working, you're gonna close that playbook, figure out some other things, and let's start over, and you're gonna be successful. That's what happens. And
Mhm.
I don't have the answers, but to me, that's just to me. That's the world stop and pause for a second to, on multiple things mentally, it's a lot of mental ill things going on.
Right.
Let's stop. Let's help these people. You get what I'm saying? Let's
Mhm.
stop, health wise. A lot of people now changing their health.
That was huge. That woke a lot of folks up. Just thinking of spending 2 weeks just in a house, you had to get creative in doing certain things.
Yeah,
Let's take a walk. Let's spend some time bonding with each other, with our wives, our
the
kids,
family.
going on a walk and
Yeah,
talking. And like you said, the
absolutely.
easy way would have been picking up the phone, trying to figure out things. So now let's stay
Think
close
about
within our little bubble with the
absolutely.
people that
Think
are
about
important
how
to us.
much. Think about how fast and how much we moving without really putting in the time into our kids. You get
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like our kids are every day. You drop them off. You rushing to get to work. After they come home, you see them. You give them a sandwich or something. Then you got to go to practice. Then you get home. You help them with their homework. Then they got to go to sleep. They get a little downtime, and that continue to go. Now, how much
Mhm.
time did you get into really knowing that person, or they really get to know you?
Yeah.
Like 80% of your
So each year, again, like when you guys start the year off, is the goal every year? What is the goal every year? Is for two things. Two things. What is the goal every basketball sense, and then in the life sense? So is every year is it a national championship or a bust, or how do you go into approaching the season?
so nothing's changed. Like what, what people got to realize, winning a national championship is a bonus. That's to me. Winning a
Mhm.
national championship is a bonus. If you go in with the same idea of, you got to have the same fundamentals. We want to get better as a team, right? Uh,
Mhm.
Individually and as a team, we're gonna work. And so what we do is we break down everything we need to get we weren't good at and we got to get better at. And we look at what guys are coming in, what they need help at. And so we want to better them every day. And if you win each day, just try to win each day. And at the end, if you win enough, the bonus is you get either win a national championship or you get to play for it. So that's how simple that is. It's not, I mean, there's no, I mean, the reason I say that is because it's no kid better than another kid, right?
Mhm.
Every year you want, different expectations is different, but you still treat them the same. You know,
Mhm.
games, the game is the same, the name change.
Right. Right.
And that's what the kids got to understand.
Yeah, and I
So
think
at the end of the day, you know, we're gonna be here like the same thing for you. I'm doing for Yuri Collins.
right.
I want the same thing. The names just change,
Hmm.
and they got to understand that's why they got to get what they need to get out of this
Yeah.
because the game is going to be here.
Hmm.
You just had the opportunity to be part of the game.
Right.
And once you get older, guess what? Just a situation. Your little brother's going to come, then your little brother's son, all that.
Hmm.
The only thing changing this is the name. And if kids got to realize that, and parents do too, you're gonna get your 4 years of fame. What you gonna do with it?
Man.
You know
Mhm.
what I mean? You're gonna get
Yeah.
your 4 years of opportunity being in the spotlight. You might be a Jason Tatum, you might
Mhm.
be a Brad Bill, but if you're not a Jason Tatum and a Brad Bill, what happened to that family? You know, 5 years ago, that their name was in they was the best thing coming out. So that guess what? Somebody else in the spotlight,
Mhm.
somebody else getting their name called. but what happened with you and your son?
Right.
If you
Right.
didn't
No.
you go about it the right way?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I really kind of I like these type of conversations, because certain people might be privileged to have a coach in a family, a coach that they've been around, but some folks might not even have heard any of these type of conversations before and even know what the expectation may be when you start playing on a team and when you leave college or leave from here. So
I mean,
go
well,
ahead.
I mean, the good thing about this is, I mean, you family, I love you, and you get to know it's more to this game. There's more to it than just, to me, than just a smile and a big guy. Most people just see the smile and a big guy. They
Hmm.
don't ever get to see the insight or the inside of, really what the game is.
Right.
And they don't really get to see what draws people to either me or to the situation. Or they
Right.
probably hear, yeah, Tate, be real with you or something like that, but they really don't know. They don't get to sit down and see, okay, now this is different.
Right.
This is a coach that want more than just, basketball. This is a coach coming talking to you from experience, not just from YouTube. This is a coach coming
Hmm.
from you talking to you, that have went through something that got some substance to them, and it's still real life type stuff that's going on with him.
Right.
He's not just a coach, just like want to come in and go, let's win one for the Gipper and go home. Like,
Yeah.
that's a different type of game. You got
Hmm.
a lot of coaches that's out here, you take basketball away from them. What substance do they have?
Right. Yeah.
What, okay, now what we going to talk about? Okay, now you take basketball away.
Hmm.
Oh, nothing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, basketball be the last thing. Anybody know me? Basketball be the last thing I'm talking about.
Right.
It's so much going on in this world, you know, other than basketball. Now I love it. I mean, I cherish it. Humbled by my situation, my opportunity. But at the same time, what makes basketball go? Let's talk about that.
Right. And I think that's the big part that I want folks even to just take away from these conversations, when, we just get locked so much into the sport and the basketball. And you kind of touched on this just a little bit earlier, of not getting so hung up on the wins and losses, because at the end of the day, something still has to go on. Like, you still have more living to do. And then you can't just, let one thing define who you are, because now you're gonna drive yourself crazy if something like COVID takes it away from us. So now what do? You might have a breakdown, because
Yeah,
you're not around it, So you got to have more to this.
that's why mental health is in play. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So again, man, you can win 5 national championships. Okay, I put it to you like this: the sun still got to rise, right? I
Right.
put it to you like this: it's 95% of guys getting coaching think they really want to be. I'm a coach. I'm a coach. Okay, so once you die, what you want to have on your tombstone? Here's a man that coached the game of basketball and won championships. Now he dead. It's more to me than that. I want to be like,
Mhm.
here's a man that coached basketball. He's a family man. He helped others. It's just a lot of things I want under my name than I
Yeah.
just won a national championship. And
Mhm.
what other? I might not ever win a national championship, but you know what? I got more than winning a national championship. You know what I'm saying? And my
Yeah.
legacy is gonna live longer than that one. Hey man, I won a national championship in 19 whatever, or
Mhm.
I was the state champion. And all right,
Right.
that's fine.
Mhm.
But okay, what happens when you're out of that arena? You got
Yeah.
life. How
Mhm.
many people have you helped? That's going, like, it's about building trees. How many branches you got on your trees? You get what I mean? And are they strong branches, or are you deeply rooted?
Mhm.
Some trees are up there, but they ain't deeply rooted.
Man,
I got branches that's come from the ground and go out.
that's right. Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Mhm.
Like, you're gonna be here. You're gonna be here. People, like when you do the right thing and you do it the right way, you're gonna
Mhm.
be here. You're gonna be you deeply rooted. It ain't
Right.
about, if it was about just winning the championship and all that, that branch is broke once you don't win no more.
Man, if a strong storm come by, boy, knock that little branch right on off.
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't got
I'm
nothing to
about I'm
show
about
for it.
branches. I'm about arms. I ain't about the leaves.
Hmm.
Leaves are, the leaves gonna come. It's gonna, once the leaves, think about it. Every year you're gonna have leaves.
Mm,
Them up, you get rid of them. Those branches still gonna be there years and years to years if you're a strong tree.
man.
And a lot of these coaches, and I'm not talking about them, you can have your own prerogative, but that's just me. I'm different.
No. That's real talk, coach, man. I appreciate you on this, man. But I want you just to understand, man. I love you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. We part of each other's legacy, and that's
Ah,
one thing that I always preach to my kids as far
no
as
doubt.
exactly what you said, man. What are you gonna be remembered for when you
Yeah.
leave this place? Having some type of legacy to leave behind. So we connected in that, and so man, I'm gonna
Oh,
go and let you go and get ready for practice, man. I know, man, y'all got that big win last night, so
yeah,
man.
man. Hey, man, you know what? I'm glad. I appreciate everything you said, but man, I'm proud of you and all the
Mhm.
things you do. Because everybody you touching and all the kids you touching, right? That's part of me. And I just look back and they say, well, you don't know. I'm like, man, I coached all them kids. And not that I coach BT, it's
Uh-huh.
because not that I coach the kids, it's because I coach BT. So
Mhm.
whatever BT, put to those kids, it's part of me. And
Mhm.
if you put something out there and we're gonna sharpen each other.
Right.
That's what it's about. It's about sharpening each other. And like when you call me, man, it ain't nothing. I'm dropping it. What you need? Like how long you need? Let's get it.
Mhm.
It's a lot of times that I ain't one of those guys that sit behind his desk, and man, my pants ain't tight enough yet, BT. you know, and it's gonna be a lot of opportunities I don't get because honestly, because my pants ain't tight enough and because my lingo ain't different.
Mm.
Now, but at the end of the day, it's only one language to speak real.
Mhm. Man,
That's at the end of
man,
the day.
man, there it is, man.
You know,
Man, I
so
appreciate you,
keep doing
man.
what you do, man, and I'm here for you any kind of way. All right.
Bet. So yeah, when I roll, I'll let you hear this, man. When I get, when I roll this on out, man, we got to get Pee Wee on, man. I reached out to him last week, so
Oh,
man,
ain't no
that
doubt.
dude, man, he played a big part in a lot of our lives around here, man. And we got to give him them flowers while he can smell them. You know what I'm saying?
Again, like far as just accolades and things like that. I don't think he get enough.
Right.
I don't think a lot of these guys get enough. For the accolades that they get. I mean that they don't get. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm, first thing people ever say, when they talk about, man, I'm good. I don't want to even. A lot of people don't even know who I coach or who I didn't coach unless they say it. I
Right.
want to look like I'm just sitting back, but I want like guys like Coach Pee Wee, all the coaches with the Eagles,
Yeah.
not just with the Eagles, it's a lot of people, that help in this community that help put the foundation down. Like there's a lot of basketball going on that people don't even think about, like the Harold Baileys.
Mm.
They don't even mention the Harold Baileys. Like that's part of this. That's part of this. The Harold Bailey League. They don't even mention, the Tandys, the Wolves, all those things. It was a part. I was glad that, Tatum gave back to
Right. To
Wolves,
woes. Yeah.
like, but it's so many, like they help shape so many different guys, and you play like I give you a person, we still say his name, but nobody really realized like how much he done for this community. And it just because you know he was able to live his life. That's Anthony Bonner. A lot of people don't remember that, like, if it weren't from the Bonner League and things that went in the Bonner League, there's a lot of people, dads and uncles, and that giving these young kids the game, they wouldn't even have no idea.
Man, the name, that the fact that it's called the Bonner League. That's when I grew up. That's all I knew, that league was called it, and he not
Hey,
even give the proper, the just due of being like, a stakeholder in this.
how many people? How many, you talk basketball? How many people you think bring up Anthony Bonner? He's not just. I mean, this is what people don't realize. Like he had a whole league. he had a whole league that was ran by like Norm Kirksey, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Talk about it. Yeah.
all those guys. Like, I mean, I can just tell you all those guys who like really massage the dough and
Mm-hmm.
put the ingredients together so that we can start baking
Mm-hmm.
this stuff,
Yeah.
and man, so when you talk about giving people their flowers and things like that, the offspring of this is the Brad Bills, the Larry Hughes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Hollywood. Those are the offspring, the Darius Miles,
Yeah.
the Tate, all that, Ben McLemore. I don't want to miss nobody. I'm
Right. Right.
telling
Right.
you, those are the offsprings of all this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all you doing is the same thing I'm doing. Is carrying a legacy.
Right.
You like people don't realize, like it's like four-headed monsters, you know, like you got the birds, Coach
Mm-hmm.
Berger,
Right.
you got the Coach Irons.
Right.
I mean, you got all coaches, like Sodan's coach. You got everybody, man. Like
Right.
Preston Thomas, you just got it
Mm-hmm.
just goes on that they deserve their flowers.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about winning championships. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you right now, when they was in it to win championships, but now it's about everybody that they coach. It's about now those championships, it's just a championship. It's just words, it's memories. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't do everything you can after that, you just didn't live no more.
Man, yeah. Oh man, that sums it up right there because that's one of the reasons again, like even just doing something like this, because I think a lot of people just think that okay, the St. Louis area is just starting to get the recognition of having pros in the league right now. But it's been a foundation of us just putting this down. They could be mentioned with the Chicago's or the DCs and the New Yorks and all of this because the foundation has been here for the longest. But a lot of times, if we're not in those big markets, and who's keeping that legacy going if we don't talk about it? Because we can't just wait on somebody else to talk about our own history. Like we have to do it ourselves.
People don't remember the Marshall Rogers, the JoJo Whites, the
Mm,
Leroy Winfields, you know,
yeah.
also, the David Thurkills, all those guys, like
Mm-hmm.
those pros, man,
Right.
those pros. Now they
Yeah.
just didn't have the contracts to go with it,
Mm-hmm.
but they sacrificed who they are, and they sacrificed for people like us, like myself, and people before me, and people after me to be able, to have an outlet in this game of basketball, man. And like I'm just telling you, man, like it ain't about the names, that's an avenue. Yeah, that's an avenue, to spotlight these guys and to put highlights and all that. Man, you want to make a highlight on the Earl Austins, you
Mm-hmm.
know, make a highlight on guys like that.
Right.
That
Yeah.
like, man, I'm just
No,
telling
he's been a steward of keeping things together, just as far as just that legacy piece, keeping everything in the capsule. Like somebody need to, we need to do one on him because if it wasn't for that man, like a lot of these stories wouldn't be carried on to even for me to even notice that. Like I think me growing up, I was more happy with being getting accomplishments from the St. Louis American more so than the Post Dispatch. You know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just, man, we have to sit down and I have to be politically correct when I say names. I don't want to say no names that I don't
Right.
really know.
I mean,
I mean,
everybody busy. I know
like
it's
the
just,
Iron
it's
Heart.
just a blessing to be able to get, squeeze this in. But, we got time though, man. But I'll keep you
Tell you about
posted on
time.
it.
Let
Huh?
me tell you time. Let me tell you about time. And you say we got time. No, no, no. The most important thing we got amongst each other that is even. That is even. That is time.
Mm-hmm.
That is time. Like there's no man richer than another with time.
Right.
Understand? It's everything else in life. You got this, you got that. That's the only thing in the world that
Mm-hmm.
is not more richer than another.
Right.
Time. Right? So yeah, do the right thing, take advantage of time, man. Because once you don't have time, you ain't got nothing else.
Man. Man.
Think about that. That's the only thing in the world.
Man.
In the
24
world.
hours in the day. You got 24, I got 24.
What we gonna do? What you gonna do with yours?